Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Bidayah Screencast. We have completed chapter 5, alhamdulillah. And with the completion of chapter 5, we must assess the student's understanding of all previous lessons. Again, this chapter assessment covers all of the concepts in the book, not just those in chapter 5. You can see the first line tests on the long alif, second line on the short alif, third line about the alif maqsura, fourth line tests on the waw, then in the fifth line we have the ya, sixth line we have waw and ya together, and the seventh line we have short selections from the Quran. These are verses, and the student will read them as words separated by dashes, by slashes, and then connect them together so the student can actually read verses from the Quran with the completion of chapter 5. Also, it's very important to note that since we finished chapter 5, the student can now read virtually any Arabic text properly, because the Bidayah book prepares the student for both Arabic and Quran, and anything after chapter 5 will be Quran specific. So thus far we've covered all of the rules: Fatha, Tanween, Sukun, Shadda, Alif, Waw, Ya, and these are the only rules and only skills the student will need for reading Arabic texts. Also, we want to note that in the seventh line, this is the student's first exposure to verses from the Quran. Of course, he or she may not even know that this is a verse. They will read it as 3 separate words and then connect the 3 words. We made sure not to include any rules of nun sakina, for example, idgham or iqlab, just straightforward verses from the Quran to avoid confusion. And we want to refer to the bottom of this page for the checkpoint, which is the minimum score for this lesson, for this test. It's 9 out of 10. So basically the student should be able to identify and pronounce all of the rules we've learned thus far, shown in lines 1 through 7, from the most simple ones like Fatha, Dhamma, Kasra, to the more complicated Sukun, Shadda, and finally the verses from the Quran. Also, as usual, we have on the next page of this test the evaluation for chapter 5. We will take note of the lessons that the student has completed to perfection almost, and the lessons that need additional practice, and in this box, lessons that need to be redone. Basically, these need to be re-explained by the instructor in a different way. Possibly the student needs a different form of instruction, maybe more focus on the hand motion, or to review certain concepts previously in the book. And as we mentioned, 9 out of 10 is the minimum grade. And please take note of the student's strengths and weaknesses, and any communication between the instructor and the parent can go in this box. And finally, we close with the signatures. Again, we can use the Bidayah flashcards for every single lesson until chapter 5, and this will help the student to have a strong foundation before moving into the Quranic specific lessons later on in the book. So please take full advantage of the workbook, website, and instructor's manual. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.